Alright, hey guys. So basically, this is part one of the entire pitch, which basically, to address the first problem that you have, which is pretty much how do you actually address Supermetrics shortcomings? Stuff like unable to load data sets that are really long, long range and really long look back window, which sometimes can be a hassle, especially when you try to load something like a year-to-date kind of report, or if you want to compare year over year and do a comparison, right? So this kind of stuff can definitely be troublesome, and one of the Supermetrics shortcoming is basically, whenever you try to load long data sets, like really huge data sets, things are starting to break. Things will load slowly and there's crashing going on. So this is where I would show you how I address that using BigQuery, basically transferring all Supermetrics raw data into BigQuery before serving it in Looker Studio. Okay, so you can see here, this is an example of like how the report looks like. Um, this is actually very simplified, anonymous. The actual one actually had more stuff in it. I'm just gonna show this. Like, this is only like basic report that's meant to show you like how fast can things load when you try to kind of go beyond 28 days. Like, let's say we put, for example, probably 2 years, right? Let's do years, okay? Because let's test the power of this of BigQuery, when you try to load that in Looker. So I have there 2022 till 2023. So let's see how fast does it load. Okay, you can see, there we go, less than 5 seconds. You can see that you have all the rows way back, right? It's loading all the rows and loading rows worth $10 million worth of span and revenue of 67 million worth of span. So so basically that's that's like a lot of of stuff going on. So this is just to show you, this is the power of what you can do. You can, with this kind of speed, you can literally do anything and everything with BigQuery. So let me show you a glimpse of how it actually works. So Supermetrics, if you have the API for Google Sheets, you will have data coming in from Supermetrics, the raw ad sources, into Google Sheets, just because it's cheaper. Because if you use Supermetrics Data Lake, it will be super expensive. Like, I've asked the accounts team, their client management team, and it was like somewhere between $2,000 to $6,000 per month, depending on your size of the data set. It can get really pricey. You don't want to go there. So Supermetrics API for Google Sheets is definitely a good alternative, because it only costs you $299 if you're looking into piping in data from 5 different ad sources. Or if you are doing lesser than 5 ad sources, then you opt into their $79 plan, which is much cheaper. So the first step is to get the data here and making sure that you enable the the automatic extraction query from Supermetrics API. Then I'm assuming you already done that. I'm not going to go through that. What I'm going to go through is the stuff from getting here to BigQuery. So to do this, like how do you export data from Google Sheets to BigQuery? There are a couple of plugins, workplace plugins that can do that. However, it does cost you money. It costs money, especially if you are like we're building an MVP. It's definitely not the best idea to like kind of pay all the plugins just to make things work. So this is where, again, the advantage for a developer like myself is that I would leverage the Google scripts to kind of create stuff from the app script and kind of order stuff, exporting sheet to BigQuery. I'm not going to reveal the entire function, but just to let you know that so basically there are 2 functions that I'm creating. One is the first time insertion from Google Sheets to BigQuery, where you need to create first a table in BigQuery, right, which is going to appear here. Again, I'm actually filtering a lot of stuff here, so the views may not be complete for confidentiality purpose. So then you have first time, and then you have to remember that you also need to reset and refresh data. This is for the next step. When you have the data in your BigQuery, right, you have to make sure that the data always like updated all the time, because you have already enabled